All right, so chapter 4, group 3, our discussion questions are: 3 students were referred to the principal's office for dress code violations. From the principal's perspective, you must determine the consequences, if any, for each student. Please provide justification for your decisions. If you think more information is needed, then expand the scenario so you have all the required information to determine each student's consequence, if any. So the first one is Aaron has a chain connecting to his billfold to his jeans.
When we talked about this one, we talked about whether or not this is considered a weapon. In some schools, in some cases, we looked this up, in some cases, schools have asked kids not to wear these because they can be used as a weapon, especially depending on how long or how big the chain is, even to the extent of other, if they're wearing them as necklaces or something, not being able to wear them. So that's something to take into consideration with this. Whereas other schools, maybe kids are wearing them and it's not a problem. So it all kind of comes down to what's the school's policy? What does the school have written in policy?
And then kind of that trend. So is it, you see it in some schools, you don't see it in any. So there's going to be trends that come and go. And so is that something you write down and you take into the next year's school meeting and say, okay, do we specify in our dress code what is not appropriate, what is? Do we put a length on there? And so that's just a conversation to have with the other administrators in the school board to determine if we do see it as a threat, then we need to implement it right away, that this isn't appropriate, and then letting parents know right away that, hey, this policy has been implemented, so it needs to go into effect. Anybody else have anything to add to that?
No, I think that sounds great. And and if we need to, like we had talked to, if we need to just have him remove it for the day, have it in the office for him to, to pick up later in the day. If we do feel that it is a safety issue, then that would be a decision that admin could make at that time, just to keep him and all students safe. So.
Yep, and letting parents know right away, hey, we had Aaron turn in his chain. This is the reason why. We're talking with administration to get this policy immediately put in to the handbook, so that, and we'll let other parents know it's not appropriate either. The next, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to say again, letting parents know the why. So like if they are seeing, that it's a safety issue and more students are wearing them and they're noticing that, just being upfront with that with parents right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, the next one. Tom has a picture of a squirrel on his shirt with the caption, "Protect your nuts."
This one kind of goes into the freedom of expression too. And it seems like I remember in the earlier chapters that we read through, that freedom of expression was kind of, in a way, community-based, or, based on the values of the community where the school is at. So it might kind of depend too on what's your school policy, how detailed is are your dress code policies, what are your local kind of values on something like this.
Yeah, and then kind of knowing, okay, is the, I know some schools, so like our school district, it's it's profanity, drugs, and alcohol. Well, this doesn't go on either of those. And more than likely, Tom is a kid who is, kind of a class clown. So he probably got his laughs walking from homeroom to first period to third period. And so if you ask him, hey, can we not wear that tomorrow? We got our laughs. He's probably going to be a kid that'd be like, all right, I'm not going to wear it again. But just letting parents know, hey, make sure that we're thinking how, our kids, what they wear really represents, what they want people to think of them. And so I've had a lot of conversations with my parents on that of, all right, we have a kid wearing a weed shirt. How is that presenting? What are they wanting that to present? So just having that conversation with the kid and then letting their parents know that you had that conversation with them too.
Yeah, and just that kind of goes along with too, like if it's disrupting learning and, kids are completely off topic and not able to focus because of it too, if it's disrupting the class is another factor in there too. And then just being aware of, what feedback you're going to get from, that one parent. If you did ask him to change his shirt, if other parents decide to call in and say, hey, we don't approve of this. So like just kind of running those scenarios through your head, talking to fellow administrators too, and being prepared for those conversations and those phone calls that could occur depending on which way you go. So.
Yep.
Yeah, as long as it's not really impacting learning, just asking them to cover it up, I think would be fine. I don't think any parent would really have an issue with that either.
They probably didn't even know their kid wore it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Probably. You just never know these days, though. I feel like sometimes parents just will find any reason to be upset, and I don't know. There's a lot of angry people, so just to be prepared.
And then last one is Ashley is wearing skin tight leggings.
Yeah, so we kind of basically said this is something that, again, is a trend, and there's, a lot of girls that are wearing leggings. So going back to your policy, what's in the policy, if you're asking one girl to change leggings, you may be asking 50 others. So just, again, knowing what you have listed, and, probably not a huge deal at this point, because that's kind of what all girls are wearing at this point. So.
Yeah, and I mean, the policy change on that would have to be no leggings, because it's not like,
Right.
skirts or dresses where you'd be like, they have to be at the below the fingertips. I mean, you can't determine who can wear leggings or how tight they can be. It either has to be, you can wear leggings or you can't. And it's such a trend that most girls don't even own pants. They only own leggings. So it's going to be, I think that's just a thing, that it's going to be no consequences. And unless you're in a school that it is no leggings, or they have to have a dress or a shirt that goes below their bottom for the leggings, and obviously that can be consequented, but not just the leggings if there's no policy.
I agree. Yeah, anything else?
I think you guys covered that one really well.